Hi everyone and welcome to another weekly update. This week I don't have any books to show you. I didn't get any new books in the mail. I do have one pre-order coming in next week, but after that I do think that I will not be getting any new books for at least a short period of time. I'm not going to make any promises, but I don't really have anything that I think will be coming in soon besides that one pre-order. Now, last week was busy and I did talk about that in my last weekly update, that work is very hectic, very busy, but all that considered, I still got a lot of reading done and I'm actually quite surprised about that. I finished one book, and that was Dragon Keeper by Hobbs. So this is the first book in the Rainwild Chronicles, and I quite enjoyed this one. I was pleasantly surprised after hearing everybody tell me that this is her weakest work, that it's just fine but nothing great. I thought that this was very reminiscent of Hobbs' other books. I thought that it fit perfectly in the realm of the Elderlings, and it might not be at the same level of her other works, but it's pretty close. And I think that if not a lot of people told me that this was her worst work, I probably wouldn't have thought about that even. I think that it's pretty well in terms of quality. Now, I do have some small issues about it, but I think that I will keep that for my wrap-up because I want to dive a little bit deeper into that than what I normally do for a weekly update. Now, besides that, I am almost done with a book that I'm reading physically, and that is Wild with Dancing by Juliette Merlier. I will finish this book today. This is her YA novel, and I think that this was just the perfect time to pick it up because it does read faster and more smoothly, and it doesn't really take a lot of brain power to get through this. This is really a comfort read for me. So I'm really liking this as well. I can definitely see why this is YA and her other works are adult. I can see some differences that again I will explain more in my monthly wrap-up. But I'm really enjoying this one, and I am quite confident that by the end I will absolutely adore the entire novel. But I will finish this one today. And then I did make a lot of progress in one book, and that is The Wall of Storms by Ken Liu. So this is the second book in the Dandelion Dynasty, and I'm really enjoying this one. I'm not even halfway in, but I am already 400 pages in. So 400 pages, I think that I all read last week, and I'm reading this one immersively, but also just listening to the audiobook when I'm commuting to and from work. And what I've been trying to do this week, and I hope that this will be a new routine for me, is that I've been going on daily walks with my dogs. I am listening to audiobooks. So this is also one that I have been listening to while walking. Now, this is a very slow read. It starts very slow, and it took around 300 pages to figure out what the actual plot of the book is going to be. But even with that, I was just along for the ride, and I was really having a great time with this book. So yes, confident that I will probably finish this one next week, of course, not last week, and I think that this will be another 5-star read. I do think that if you didn't like Grace of Kings, you're not going to like this one either, but at this point I think that I like this one slightly more, even though both of them are of course great. Now, that's everything that I'm currently reading. I think next week I might start Scorpica, that new release that I got in the mail 2 weeks ago, but I'm not quite sure. I'm keeping my options open for now. In terms of what happened on the channel, so last week I did upload 2 new videos. I think the first one was a quick review of 3 new releases that came out in January this year, and I tried to let you know whether or not I would recommend them and why, so that hopefully you can make up your own mind. And the other video that I uploaded yesterday was books that I have on my physical TBR that I have bought at one point in time but that no longer excite me. And even though that's not the most exciting topic, I actually had quite a bit of fun making the video, and I was very relieved that in the end only a few books on my TBR are books that no longer excite me, and the majority of them, even though I bought them over a year ago, are still books that I will gladly pick up and that I do think I will like a lot. So that was a little bit of a relief, you could say. For next week, at the very least, I want to make a spring recommendations video. If you don't know, I make recommendations videos for each season of the year, and spring is a difficult one. I know that most people just put all fairy tale retellings, mid-retellings in the spring category, but for me that doesn't really fit. Most fairy tale retellings for me fit in the fall category. As a matter of fact, I actually read Wild with Dancing thinking that I might put it on my spring recommendations video, but it's 100% sure a fall recommendations book. So it will be a short list, but I do think that all the books that I have on that list just scream spring 100%. Now, the other video that I wanted to put out next week, I'm actually not quite sure, but I think that it will be my backlist authors TBR. But that's still up for debate. The one that you will definitely get is my spring recommendations video. Now, in terms of readalongs, I do have exciting news, and that is that I am going to start the War for the Rose Throne series by Peter Mclean next month. And this will be a read-along, so if you want to join us, you definitely can. So we will be reading the first book, Priest of Bones, in April, and then read one book per month. And I do think that his new release, so the fourth and final book in this series, is coming out in July, so that works out quite nicely. Now, Steve has figured all of this out. This is always great. Whenever I do a read-along with Steve, even if I'm hosting the live shows, which I will be doing for this series, I actually don't have to do anything. I just have to sit back and relax, and Steve is doing everything behind the scenes. Now it's exactly the same. He has contacted the author, and for now, the author is going to join us for the fourth and final live show, and we can gush about his entire series together with him, which is going to be, of course, a lot of fun. So we will have live shows for each of these books. I think for now it's Steve and myself, but I do think that other people are willing to join. And on my Discord, a lot of people have already said that they're probably also going to pick up this book. So yes, that's very exciting. And if you want, definitely hop on my Discord, where I will at the very least be discussing Priest of Bones, the first book. If you're wondering what this is about, by the way, it has been pitched to me as, if you like Peaky Blinders, imagine that this is like Peaky Blinders, the TV show, which I love, but with magic, which sounds absolutely fantastic. And I've also heard that this is definitely grimdark. So yes, very excited for this one. A very short read, so I do think that I will get through this quite quickly. Now, in terms of the other read-alongs, I will link all of the details and all of the information that you need to have in the description box down below, because of course we still have our Seven Waters series read-along, we have the Malazan Book of the Fallen read-along, or Stormlight Archive read-along, and then this one. And I do think that that is everything, but I'm not quite sure. So just if you want to know it, description box down below, that's where you can find everything. Now, that's all of the important information that I wanted to tell you, but I just wanted to quickly show you also some spreads of my reading journal. I do know that only a small amount of people that watch my videos are interested in this, but for that small amount of people, here you have my March reading spreads. So I'm actually quite happy with what I did with March. And it's not entirely done yet. I hope that it focuses, yes. So here I will have, of course, a quote, but I don't have one yet. I still need to think about the quote that I want. And then here, this is my new type of agenda. And I said in my last video, where I showed you January and February, that I wanted to do this differently, and I'm much happier with this. And then this is just my booktube videos that I want to put out. And here I also put all my ideas. So even videos that I don't think I will put out in March, but I just want to put it somewhere, I put it there. Then we have my TBR section. And here we have Buddy Read. So this is a new section, and hauls. And then this is one that I'm quite happy with. So here we have all the books that I started, and I color-coded them. And then here you can see on which days I read them, which days I finished them, and if there is a cross on top, that's a DNF. So this is probably the spread that I'm most happy with the exception of this one. So this is March Reads. So these are all of the books that I read in March, and I gave a lot more information about them than I did in my previous monthly spreads. So quite happy with this as well. This is actually the last one that I have, so I still need to make my stats spread and then one quote, and I think my favorite book of the month as well. So it's not done yet, but I just wanted to show you that I did change a couple of things, and I'm quite happy with how it turned out in the end. So this is everything that I wanted to tell you this week. Please let me know in the comments down below what you've been reading, watching, listening to this week, and what you found enjoyable. And I do hope that you have a great rest of your Sunday. As always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you next time. Bye!